Chapter 4. Ah! Tasha opened her mouth in an angry scream. She tugged at her red hair with both hands. "You creep! Ricky, you creep!" she cried. She shouldn't call people names, but she had good reason to be angry at me. I had erased the whole front page. The screen glowed at us bright blue, solid blue. No words, no pictures. Sorry, I murmured. "Maybe I can get it back," Tasha told Melly. "Maybe there's a way to find it and pull it back up." Tasha shoved me out of the way, picked up her chair, and sat down. "Oh!" She let out another cry when she realized she had sat in a puddle of soda. Staring at the solid blue screen, she began typing furiously. I could see the keys were still wet and sticky. She kept making mistakes, backing up, typing again, typing, muttering under her breath the whole time. No use, no good. The front page refused to come back. Finally, she gave up with a loud groan. She tossed her hair hands in the air with both hands, and turned to me with a growl. "You creep!" she cried. All that work, lost!" I swallowed hard. "Tasha, it was an accident," I muttered. "Really, it was just an accident." "You little creep!" Tasha shrieked. Melly stood beside her, glaring at me angrily, shaking her head. "Wart pushed me!" I cried. I returned to the table. Wart and David had vanished from the room. "You're off the paper!" Tasha screamed. "Get out, Ricky! You're out of here!" "Huh?" My heart stopped for a second. "No, Tasha, wait," I pleaded. Get out! Get out!" She made shooing motions with both hands, the way you chew away a dog. "You're off the paper, and I mean it." But, I sputtered it like an outboard motor. "But I need the activity points. Please, give me a second chance. Please," I begged. "Out!" Tasha insisted. Melly tisk-tisked and shook her head. "You're so unfair," I wailed. I know, I sounded like a baby, but give me a break. It was really unfair. I turned and slunk to the door, and guess who was standing there? Guess who had watched the whole ugly scene? You're right, Iris. Her first day of school, and she already knew what a loser I was. "What are you doing here?" I asked gloomily. "Well, they said I needed an after-school activity, so I thought I'd try the newspaper," Iris replied. She followed me down the empty hall. "But I don't think I want to join the newspaper. That red-haired girl is really mean." "Tell me about it," I muttered, rolling my eyes. "She shouldn't have called you a creep," Iris continued. "It was just an accident. She's horrible. She should give you another chance." Maybe Iris and I will become good friends, I thought. I pulled my blue parka from my locker, and then Iris and I made our way out of the building. The afternoon sun was already dropping behind the houses and bare trees. It gets dark so early here in the winter. Patches of snow on the lawns and sidewalks gleamed dully as we walked towards the street. "Which way was your house?" I asked, shifting my backpack over my parka. Iris pointed. "Mine too," I said. We started walking together. I didn't really feel like talking, but I was still totally upset about getting kicked off the newspaper. I was glad that Iris was on my side. We crossed the street and made our way up the next block. A tall hedge stretched along the entire block, broken only up by driveways. Some kids had marked off the street for a hockey game, and they were skating back and forth in the street, leaning on their sticks, cheering and shouting. "Do you skate?" Iris asked. A little," I told her. "My rollerblades are kind of broken. The brakes came loose and, "Oh, I always take off the brakes," she said. "It's a lot more fun without the brakes, don't you think?" I started to answer, but a sound from behind the tall hedge made me stop. Was someone whispering? Did I hear someone giggling? Iris and I kept walking. She was telling me about something about the kids skated in the town she moved from, but I didn't really listen. I kept hearing footsteps, whispers, scraping sounds from the other side of the hedge. Finally, I raised a finger to my lips. "Iris, shh," I whispered. Her blue eyes widened in surprise. Ricky, what's the matter? I think we're being followed, I told her. Chapter 5. I don't hear anything, Iris whispered. She narrowed her eyes at me. We both listened. Silence. Except for the cheers on the street hockey players from behind us down the block. We started walking, and then I heard a giggle, some whispers. I turned into the next driveway and darted behind the hedge. Who's there? Iris called. She came running up behind me, her eyes searching the hedge, then the front yard. No one here, I said. She laughed. Ricky, why do you look so worried? You probably heard a bird or something. Yeah, a bird, I repeated. I led the way around the hedge to the sidewalk, and I didn't want to think I was crazy, but I knew I had heard something. We walked past a few more houses, and then I heard a whisper chanted from behind the hedge. Sicky Ricky, Sicky Ricky. Did you hear that? I asked Iris. She shook her head. I heard the distant hum of a plane high overhead. Do you mean that plane? She asked. No, I replied. I heard a voice. A soft giggle floated out from the hedge. I ran to check it out and nearly slipped on a slick patch of ice. I grabbed the hedge to catch my balance, and no one was back there. An empty front yard. Straightening my backpack, I hurried to Iris on the sidewalk. Ricky, you're a little weird, she said. She laughed, but I could tell she was starting to wonder about me. Starting to think maybe I was too weird to be her friend. I heard someone back there, really, I insisted. They must be hiding behind the hedge, or... Ah! I heard a scream of attack. The hedge shook. I staggered backwards towards the street, and 4 figures came leaping out of the hedge. 4 kids shrieking and cheering. My 4 enemies. I saw Iris's face twist in surprise, and then Wart grabbed me. David grabbed me too. Brenda and Jared joined them, and they pushed me one way, then pulled me back, laughing and shouting. They spun me around, and then David tackled me to the ground. They swarmed around me, pushing me down, and held me to the cold, wet mud. Let go of me! I shrieked. I tried to kick and thrash and squirm free, but the 4 of them held me firmly. Let go of me, I wailed. What are you going to do? Let him go, I heard Iris cry. Okay, Wart replied. No problem. The big chubby Wart had been sitting on my chest, and he climbed to his feet. I took a deep breath, and the other 3 let go of me and took a step back. I sat up, rubbing mud off my parka sleeve, and I glanced at Iris. She stood near the curb, hands balled into fists, and her eyes were wide with alarm. With a groan, I started to stand up, but Wart and Jared shoved me back down. Not so fast, Jared said. Jared is short and skinny, but he's real mean. What do you want? I demanded. Wart leaned over me. Why did you tell Tasha that the soda can accident was my fault? He asked. Because it was your fault, I shot back. I pulled a dead brown leaf from my hair. But why did you tell Tasha? Wart asked nastily. Oh, because he's a wimp, David chimed in. Because he was scared, Brenda said. Because you're a snitch, Wart accused. But it was your fault, I cried. I tried to climb up, but they pushed me back down again. Iris let out a short cry and then covered her mouth with both hands. I could see she was really scared. Don't worry, I called to her. They're not going to really hurt me. I turned to Wart. Right? All 4 of them laughed. What should we do to Ricky the rat? Brenda said. Hurt him, David replied. They laughed again. No, let's make him sing, Wart said, grinning at me. Oh no, I groaned. Not again. They think it's a right to make me sing songs to them. They force me to sing all the time. It's because I have a terrible voice and I can't carry a tune. Please, I begged. Yeah, sing a song. For your new friend, Brenda said, motioning to Iris. No way, I insisted. David and Jared bent down and grabbed my shoulders. They started to push me deeper into the mud. Sing a song, Jared ordered. Sing the Star-Spangled Banner, Wart said. The others cheered and clapped. Yeah, sing the Star-Spangled Banner. That's the best. No, I groaned. Not again. Please, guys, please. I don't know the words, really. Don't make me sing that song again. I begged and pleaded, and Iris begged and pleaded, but the four of them stood over me, staring me down, not letting me up from the mud. What choice did I have? I knew the only way to get them to leave. So sitting there on the cold, muddy ground, I started to sing. Oh, say, can you see? They burst out into loud laughter. They hooted and howled. They shoved each other and slapped each other high fives. They practically fell down in the mud themselves. They were laughing so hard. And the home of the brave. Somehow I made it through the whole song. Of course, I forgot most of the words, and of course my voice cracked at the high parts. And of course I'd never been so embarrassed in all of my life. Iris must think I'm the biggest jerk on the planet, I told myself. She must think I'm a total loser. I wanted to sink into the mud like a worm and never come back up. I took off. I just started to run. I didn't glance back, not at my four enemies, not at Iris, especially not at Iris. I didn't want her to see me. Won't see her laughing at me too, or feeling sorry for me. I ran all the way home without slowing down, and then I burst into the house. I slammed the door shut behind me and ran up to my room. This is all Tasha's fault, I decided. First, Tasha kicked me off the newspaper staff because of an accident, and then Tasha told Wart that I had blamed him. So Wart and his pals had no choice. They had to chase after me and embarrass me in front of Iris. All Tasha's fault. All Tasha's fault. I was starting to think about her as I struggled to fall asleep that night, still thinking about how I'd pay Tasha back someday. It took hours and hours to fall asleep. The phone beside my bed rang loudly and woke me up Saturday morning. Sleepily, I grabbed up the receiver. Guess who was on the other end? Tasha. Yes, a surprise call from Tasha. A call that would change my life.